This subquery Ethereum startup project indexes transfers and approvals for the Ethereum wrapped EtherSmart contract. You can actually view the details in Etherscan at this contract address here, where you can see over 13 million transactions have taken place. So to get this project running, let's jump into VS Code and I'll run the standard subql init command. I'll go ahead and choose the Ethereum network family, select the Ethereum network and also the Ethereum startup project. I'll then accept all the default values here and then we'll cd into the project and run the yarn install, downloading the dependencies. Next, let's run yarn code gen to auto-generate the TypeScripts. We'll then build the code as well. And then we can run yarn start docker. Now, while this is loading, let's take a look at the manifest file here, or the project YAML file. You can see the endpoint we're hitting is the onfinality.io endpoint. We could use any public endpoint, but it has to be a non-prune full archive node. Scrolling down, we start indexing at block 15 million here. And then here we specify the actual wrapped ether contract address. And we've got two handlers, a transaction handler and a log handler. The transaction handler captures the transactions and the log handler captures logs, but also filtering on transfers as well. In our schema file, we have two entities, essentially two database tables, indexing the to address, the from address, and the value of our transfers. And the approval entity is very similar as well. If we jump into our mapping file, you can see we've got two functions, the handle log and handle transaction function. And these are triggered by the handler in the manifest file we just saw, extracting data from the log and the transaction object, respectively. That is passed through as an argument with type transfer log and approved transaction. Now, to get this up and running, what you'll notice is that there's actually an error here, failed to fetch blocks. That's because the endpoint needs an API key. So what I'm going to do is go back to my YAML file. I'm going to register for a free account at onfinality.io and replace this with an API key, and then we can start querying. Okay, so I've got the API key included now. So let's go ahead and stop this, and I'll restart the Docker container, and then I'll go to the README and I'll copy out the actual sample query. Jump across to the playground here on port 3000. Let's paste the query here, and here we have it. We've got some results come back. Now, to do a quick cross check, let's copy the transaction hash here. We'll go into Etherscan and we'll search by the transaction hash. And we can see the block height here is 385, 385. And looking at the value, you can see it's 9926, 9926.